Today we are going to go over acute, obtuse, and right angles inside the shapes. So, let's just go over what obtuse, acute, and right angles are. So a right angle, okay? So a right angle is basically the angle you would see in like a square or a rectangle. So I know that's not perfect, but it's kind of close. Usually they have like a little square here to show that it's a right angle. But that's basically a right angle. So you can think about it as the corner of a rectangle or a square. Now, an acute angle is an angle that is, and a right angle equals 90 degrees. Okay. Now, an acute angle is less than 90. So, less than 90 degrees. And it means it would be a little further, like closed than a right angle. So something like this would be acute. Do you see how it's more closed? Right? Like if this side and this side came closer together, then it would be an acute angle. And an obtuse angle is one that's slightly more open. So it would be something like this. So if I were to stretch these sides out more, then it would be an obtuse angle. And so an obtuse angle is greater than 90 degrees. So, now, one way to remember that acute is less than 90 degrees and obtuse is greater than 90 degrees is you can think of, for acute, you can think of, a cute little angle, right? So it's a cute little angle. And for obtuse, you can think of obtuse, like a tuba. Obtuse. So like a tuba, like a big tuba. And that is a little trick I learned from one of the 4th grade teachers at my school. But I think it's a good way to remember what acute and obtuse mean. So let's start going through these angles. Now, what I like to do, if I can't figure it out, is this angle right here, okay? So if I can actually draw an angle, okay, that would be perpendicular. So perpendicular basically means that it would make a 90-degree angle. And so this right here would be about a 90-degree angle, right? And since this angle is much wider than that, then this is an obtuse. Now, this angle is also substantially wider than what a 90-degree angle would be. So obtuse, this is the same. Obtuse, this is the same. This one is, well, let's just go to these two here. Now, this one looks like it is also obtuse, but it's just slightly, more closed. So I would say that one is obtuse, but it does look kind of close to a right angle. Okay, so these are all obtuse. Now let's look at this. This one looks like a right angle, right? This looks just like the corner of a square or a rectangle. So this is right. And in a triangle, if we have one right side, since these other ones have to be acute, and obviously they are acute because they're much more closed off than 90 degrees, but they have to be acute because the three angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So, that means that these ones, since this is a right angle, which is 90 degrees, these two angles have to also add up to 90, because 90 plus 90 is 180. So if these two angles add up to 90, then that means they have to both be acute. Now let's look at this one. And these are all the same angle. This is an octagon. And in an octagon, at least like this, these are all obtuse, right? They're all wider than 90 degrees. For this one, looks like we have three right angles, right? These are the angles of a square or a rectangle. Then we have to look at these angles. Is this angle more open or more closed than this angle? And it is more open, right? And this one's more open because from here it would be like this, would be 90 degrees, and from here like this, and it is more open in both those cases. All right, so now let's look at this one. And if for this right here, if I were to make this into a 90-degree angle, it would be something like that, right? And this angle right here is inside that. It's inside that right angle, so this has to be less than 90. It is acute. This one is obtuse. It's much more open. This one is slightly more open than a right angle, right? So as you can see, the right angle for this line would probably be somewhere around there, and this is slightly more open, so that is obtuse. This one, the right angle would be here, and this is clearly inside, so this would be another acute. So hopefully that basically shows you guys a brief overview of acute, obtuse, and right angles within shape.